This is episode 62 of the Why Not Me podcast, Letting Go of Anger. I'm your host, Danita Bremer. I'm a wife, mom, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and a life coach. And I believe when you know who you are, you can be the best at what you're called to do. That's what we talk about here. You guys, thank you so much for your ratings and reviews. I now have 10 5-star ratings and 5 reviews. S. Thorn 2 says, Danita's podcast is remarkable. She helps me recognize things that I would have missed. She has a unique take on topics and helps you look at things in a different way. I love what she shared about recognizing the spirit. Thank you for this very helpful podcast. Thank you so much, S. Thorn 2. I think I know who you are. I am so glad that I'm helping you look at things in a different way. That is the essence of repentance. And I'm totally here for it. If you haven't left a rating and review, I would so love if you would. I really want to know what your takeaways are. Today, I want to talk about first a program that I joined and a person that I found that is helping me. And then I'm going to get into a meditation and an experience about processing anger. So I'm apparently late to the party. I did not know about Brooke Snow until only about a month ago when a friend, a contact on social media, mentioned her program and mentioned that it was opening and that it was amazing. And something about that kind of piqued my curiosity, and I went and I explored. And when I went to her website, I was like, oh my gosh, Brooke Snow is doing the very same thing that I want to do, that I've been envisioning myself doing. She helps people with habits and coming closer to the Lord. So it's like faith and self-help all mixed together in a beautiful soup. And I just have been loving everything. So I found her and I researched her. And then within a week, I joined her program, which is called Creation Course. And then she has a Creation Course certification. So I'm in the certification because everything I read, I started listening to her podcast and it just resonated so strongly with me. And I'm loving it. So the Creation Course certification requires you to keep 8 different habits for 200 days. And so I'm jumping in. One of the habits is not drinking drinks with sugar in them. One of the habits is a daily meditation. I've done some meditation in the past, but I haven't really gotten into meditation. And Brooke gives us, I think there's 20 guided meditations in kind of a separate podcast feed that we can use. And so that's what I've been doing. Every morning, I get up and I brush my teeth and I throw my exercise clothes on and I come down to my office and I roll out my yoga mat and I do a little bit of yoga. So my minimum baseline for yoga is 3 cat cows. And I got that from Brooke. And I've been wanting to have a yoga practice, but it seems overwhelming to me even to think of turning on a yoga video that's 20 or 30 minutes long. It just feels like I can't fit that in my day. And when I heard Brooke say my minimum was 3 cat cows, I was like, oh, I could do that. And so I do 3 cat cows. And I also add in, because I'm working with a trauma coach and I'm working on embodiment, I add in an embodiment practice, which is where I just go into my body and I check in with what is happening in my body. What am I feeling? What sensations do I notice? And I just do that for a few minutes. And sometimes things come up and sometimes there's not really much there that I notice. And then I do the guided meditation. So this morning I came down and I noticed some things in my body. I noticed some anger, and I've been working with my coach. The last session we had, we realized that I haven't been giving myself permission to feel angry. And so I've been just kind of thinking about that and feeling into that for a week now. And today the anger came back up. And so I went into the guided meditations, and there's one called the Throwing Rocks meditation, and it's for feeling your feelings, especially feelings like anger and frustration. Okay, so today I want to invite you in as we examine the meditation that I did, where I processed some sadness and I processed some anger. So I've now, because I did this meditation this morning and then I typed up my show notes and basically did the meditation again in my mind's eye. I've done it 3 times. The first time I did this particular meditation, I processed loneliness and abandonment, and there wasn't any anger that came up. Um, so I've done this twice, and it's very emotional. So I might have some emotions that come up, but I think that I've been through it twice. It should be okay. I think I should be able to kind of explain and help you experience a little bit of what I experienced, because my purpose here is to teach you this tool as a way to help you. Oh, test, test. External device. No. Something is happening with my microphone and my GarageBand. It looks like it's all good. Okay, are we good now? Okay, looks like we're good now. So I'll have to go back and edit that. So I got a little lost here, but so my purpose here is to help you understand how to use meditation and visualization as a tool for you to process your emotions. So I'm going to walk you through kind of what happened for me. And I'm just learning, like, line upon line, that this is the work that the Lord is calling me to, is using my experiences to teach other people and help them. Okay, so just join me as I walk you through this meditation, and you might treat it as a meditation. Um, I'm sitting on my purple yoga mat, and today I'm sitting with my legs crossed. First, we ground. I breathe a few deep breaths, deep, slow breaths to calm my mind and my body and preparing me to visualize. In this meditation, I'm invited to imagine myself near a body of water. I find myself at the edge of a small lake where my parents used to bring us. It's eerily quiet. Only the water skimmers and other insects are moving or making noise. The water is still. It seems to be summer in my imagination because I feel warm. The sun is shining. Everything is peaceful and still. There's a place where people who come to this lake park their cars right at the water's edge. And that's where I am. And there's a weathered picnic table there. I find myself sitting on the picnic table with my feet on the bench facing the water. I smell that clean, earthy smell, like damp earth. I hear a few insects buzzing, but mostly the silence is the loudest thing. And this place reminds me of the taste of hot dogs and pork and beans. And what I feel is I feel the picnic table underneath my bottom. I feel my hands on the table and the ridges of the wood after years and years of being weathered. In this meditation, the Lord is invited to be with me. And instantly, he is also sitting on the picnic table in his bright white robes. He doesn't say anything, and neither do I, but I can feel his presence. Next, I'm invited to imagine a pile of rocks. Some of the rocks in my pile are smooth and round, good for skipping, and some are jagged, dirty, and heavy. Again, this meditation is for feeling your feelings. And every time I pick up a rock, I focus on feeling it in my hands and feeling my emotion. The first rock is smooth and cold. I can barely wrap my small hands completely around it, and I feel sad. My body rocks with sadness. I allow the tears to flow. I'm here in my office on my yoga mat, rocking forward and backward. My hair falls into my face. I cry, a silent, familiar cry. And then I'm back at the water's edge. The Lord is still there on the table, and my dad is there. I can't see his face. He's facing away from me toward the water, but he's several feet away. He has a cigarette in his right hand that hangs loosely at his side. And I feel so sad. Now I bring my hands to my eyes. I'm still rocking. All of a sudden, I'm throwing. I throw that smooth, cold rock as far as I can into the lake, and the lake swallows the rock with a gulp. I grab another rock. This time it's a little larger and jagged, sharp, with dirt crusted onto it. And I feel a new emotion well up within me, anger. In my mind's eye, I yell and I throw. You left me. You weren't there for me. You weren't there when I needed you most. You left me. I needed you. You never call. You don't care about me. I yell and I throw those rocks with all the might I can muster in my imagination. My dad doesn't move. It's like he can't hear me. And then I yell, I loved you. And that's when the Lord speaks up for the first time. Hang on to that love. Don't let that one go. So I keep that rock in my hand. It's a smooth one. It's small. It fits right into my hand so nicely. It feels familiar. I loved you. I loved you, and you couldn't love me back. I want to be angry, but I'm afraid it will displace my love for my dad. So I revert to feeling sad. Now my dad is facing me, and my mom is standing next to him too. This is the funny thing about our imaginations. Things can just appear, people can just appear. I love you. I love you. And you can't love me back. They stand there looking like children who feel guilty. Their eyes are big and sad. And then something unexpected happens. They apologize. They say, I'm sorry, I didn't know how. And then the Lord speaks up again. He says, that wasn't their place. An understanding and a surrender washes over me. It's like I relax. They weren't here to love me. They weren't capable. That wasn't part of their journey. It's unfair of me to ask them to do something they couldn't. My dad says to me, you were always the strong one, stronger than us. And that makes me cry because I've never thought of myself as the strong one. Honestly, it was always my parents who were the strong ones, and I looked to them. But again, this like understanding washes over me, and I feel calm and peaceful. And I turn to the Lord and I ask, now what, Lord? And he replies, Now, take this and teach it to others. There are so many who are like you and need these tools. They need to know how to process their feelings. I open my eyes and I grab for a tissue. I desperately need to wipe and blow my nose. I know this won't be the last time I do this meditation, but I can already feel healing happening. I feel lighter somehow, like that buzzing that happens after you run a mile. There's a part of me that wants to blame my parents, but I know that what I'm feeling isn't about them. And this meditation is simply a projection of my own subconscious, the part of me that needs to let go of the anger, but still hang on to the love. I don't understand it all. It seems like if they were my parents, then it should have been their place to love me better. But maybe it's just what I needed to hear today to let go of expecting them to give me something they never had in the first place. I know that I have to be the one to give that love to myself. It makes me think of Abraham, whose father tried to sacrifice him, and he was only saved by the power of an angel. It makes me think of Nephi, who had to flee from his brothers before they killed him. I think of Adam and Eve, who were cast out of the beautiful Garden of Eden and out of the Lord's presence. I think of Elma, who fled his people because he believed Abinadi. He must have had family he left, but the scriptures don't say for sure. I think of the Jaredites, who were a mighty nation from one single family, and they end up killing each other off until only one of them remains alive. And of course, Jesus Christ, who left the Father's presence to do a mighty work, whose own people didn't believe him or believe in him. They despised him and ultimately killed him. The scriptures are full of accounts of people whose own families were unable to love them. Why not me? My coach says the anger I've buried and have been avoiding my whole life is blocking my life force. And when I clear it, I will have more capacity for love and joy and creativity and presence, all the things that I really want, that I want more of. And I have a feeling that God has a great work for me. Honestly, I have a feeling that God has a great work for all of us if we're willing to do the work to get to the place where we can do the work he has for us. I won't be able to do it if I am still holding on to anger. And I think next I have some forgiving to do. That's enough for now, and so are you. If this episode made you think of yourself or others or God in a new way, would you please give it a rating and a review and tell me your favorite takeaway? And if you want to truly do the work of being the best you at what you do, go to danitabremmer.com to schedule a free session with me. Until next time, go be you and follow the Spirit.